Wow, have a look at these two. Contrast and Multiscoot are grubbing away on some moistened, pre-made tortoise diets. While it looks as appetizing as military sea rations from World War II, as you can see by those two gluttons, it's just as big of a hit as fresh salads. On the days that they do not get fresh veggies, I give my tortoises a variety of these prefab foods. This chart on the wall of my reptile area helps me keep track of what they will be eating each day. The magnets also help me remember which tortoises get soaked each day while I'm preparing their food. As you can see, the baby leopards get soaked nearly every day. Let's now have a look at how I fix their dishes on diet days. As I do no matter what type of food I'm feeding them, fresh or pre-made, I begin with clean dishes. You can see their names dremeled into the bottom of each dish. Unless you bleach every dish every day, it's a good idea not to mix place amongst different species. Even though all of my tortoises are captive born and have little chance of carrying species-specific pathogens, it's best not to cross-contaminate. I'll add a few pieces of forest tortoise diet to the baby leopard's dishes, and then I'll put the grassland tortoise diet on there. I use both for the babies because the forest tortoise diet has a little bit of extra protein in it, and that's good for a young growing tortoise. In the past, it was generally believed that a diet too rich in protein is what caused pyramiding tortoises. A lot of the more modern research has shown it's actually a lack of humidity, so I'm not worried about messing up their shells by giving them just a tad bit more protein. The redfoots will of course get forest tortoise diet, and as you can see on the cover of that carton, there's a redfoot tortoise. The stars and pancake receive grassland tortoise diet, as it replicates their more natural diet. It's higher in fibers and a little bit lower in proteins than the forest tortoise diet. Once I've added an adequate amount of ZooMed diet, I'll also give them the Missouri tortoise chow pellets. The Missouri tortoise chow actually has very little nutritional value when compared to the ZooMed diets or fresh veggies. Luckily, tortoises are able to pull out every last nutrient from foods no matter how calorically devoid they are. I've read in some forum posts about how people use this as the primary diet for their tortoises. While I definitely do not recommend this, there are quite a few tortoises out there living their lives off this stuff. Unlike the days that I give them fresh veggies, as you can see, I don't just pile the food on here. Experimenting and experiences taught me about how much each tortoise or each cage of tortoises will eat for me. Even though I'm able to get those 60-ounce cartons of ZooMed diet off of Amazon Prime and they're priced really well, the Missouri diet is kind of difficult to get. Unless I want to pay $90 in shipping, it's impossible for me to get the good 25-pound bag. So I have to order it from individuals that take it out and rewrap it in 1-pound bundles. And I can usually get about 5 or 6 pounds shipped to me at a decent price. After I've dished out the right amounts of Missouri and ZooMed diet, I'll add super hot water to them. This helps to rehydrate everything. The small compressed ZooMed pellets are meant to be rehydrated in this way, whereas the Missouri pellets can be fed dry. A lot of tortoises don't like this. My tortoises prefer to eat it kind of mushy, but I've watched a lot of videos on YouTube where Aldabras and Galapagos just eat out of a giant bucket. They'll just eat it and you can hear them crunching and crunching and crunching. It's pretty cool. Once I've added the hot water to the bottom of the dishes, it's kind of time to just sit back and wait. When I was adding water, I realized I forgot to add the other type of Missouri pellets. They're called Missouri LS, low starch diet. And to be blunt, they look just like rat turds. So I usually refer to them as the rat turd Missouri. And over the course of about 25 minutes, you'll see that everything soaks up the water and expands. I will have to go back and add a little bit of water or sometimes use a paper towel to soak up where I've added too much water. It's really a guessing game. That I don't have down to a science just yet. I find that tortoises like to eat things that are in kind of higher elevated piles. They don't like to eat stuff that's mushed and flat on the ground. I guess this kind of simulates plants that they'd be reaching up to eat. So I'll take their mush and make bigger mush piles. Sometimes I add a little bit too much water and I've got to dump it back. These are the zoo med diets that I use. You see the grassland tortoise, the forest tortoise, the gourmet tortoise, and even a little bit of box turtle food up there. And on the backside, you can see where I keep my Missouri diet, the larger tortoise chow pellets, the tortoise LS diet is over there to the left. There's some stuff for baby tortoises that I really don't use anymore. I've tried the National Geographic tortoise chow. They really don't like that. You can also see my cans of box turtle food. I have some Zilla tortoise food that they really didn't like, my scales right there, and a couple of tortoise chewing blocks to help grind their beaks down naturally. And just like the last video, you've seen how it's done, you saw how I set up their dishes and plates, now it's time to watch the fruits of my labor. The tortoises just love this stuff. Also, you can see the Missouri LS diet at the top there, and yes, it looks like rehydrated rat turds, but they eat it. My star tortoise's preference will shift back and forth between the Zoo Med diet and the larger Missouri tortoise pellets. She's never eaten the new Missouri LS diet, so instead of wasting it, I don't even bother putting it on her dish anymore. Our larger redfoot tortoise, Harambe, was really shy when we first got him, but for his part, he's definitely come out of his shell, so to speak. His personality has become way more outgoing, and as you can see from these next few seconds, he will eat everything. Plant matter should make up the majority of a tortoise's diet, but redfoots love worms. These guys will sprint across their cages to get at a big, juicy nightcrawler. Since the pancake decided to be shy on the day I recorded this and didn't even want to come out of his home to eat, I thought we would come back to the leopard tortoises. These are my other two leopard tortoises, Valentine and Eclipse, and just like Multi-Scoot and Contrast, these two are also not going to let any of this go to waste. It may look like sea rations and it may smell like wet grass, but they love it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you for tuning in to the Arctic Reptile Ranch.